What's up YouTube? Daniel back here for another video. So new setting, as you can see here. I'm not sure you guys can see in Melasman Square, Toronto. There used to be a festival here called Hispanic Fiesta, and I used to come here all the time. There's a lot of memories. And I was just at a round two workout with a personal trainer, so I wanted to come here and shoot quickly and essentially just share the growth that I've had, that I'm seeing, the reflections I'm having about myself. And this is something that's going to help everybody because I never thought I can get to this point. Essentially, one of the best things I had was yesterday when I was able to connect. And by connect, I mean you don't think. It's like a flow state. I call it connecting to the source, connecting to God. But essentially, everything is coming to you. It's effortless. You're just flowing through time and space. You get all this wisdom and thoughts. You know, it's thoughts, but it's not overthinking. It's very different. Overthinking is you feel overthinking. When you're in flow, you feel like you're light as a feather, or connected. Sorry. Not sure if you can hear anything in the back. Trying to make this as normal as possible. But yeah, I want to just come on here, share authentically. Today was a bit very different, I would say. I was comparing it to on my story on Instagram when you watch Limitless with Bradley Cooper and he takes the pill for the first time and then wakes up the next day. It's kind of more or less how I felt, not right away, but towards the end of the day. A lot of overthinking came, especially I wasn't able to do my morning walk. I'm seeing now that being able to be in nature is massive. Like just being able to connect with the energy of nature. I think the city, if you see, not that there's no energy, it's just very different compared to nature. Like we are nature, God is nature, and if you think you're going to find Him in a church, you're more likely to find Him in a forest because He is nature. Is everything. When you see nature in a beautiful scene, you don't. You only think of God, right? And that's what I've found to be able to connect the most. The times where I've connected the most, got emotional even, was when I was either at a beach somewhere close to water or somewhere out in nature with a forest, trees, and it's something I'm seeing that the city doesn't have. That's one thing that's kind of deterring me away from the city, um, and not being able to get that connection as much as I want. But anyways, the point is that anybody right now that's watching this and is understanding they overthink too much, the decisions basically have to go through a whole process of thinking about it, then like reassuring the thought, maybe even like checking ChatGPT. That's a new one everyone's doing. They think they're very smart, by ChatGPTing all their problems or their questions, and that actually is what's hurting you. And I realized I was talking with my coach about it. We have like crazy connection in terms of our calls. Our calls are literally just me speaking to him and him helping me find answers to myself. And that's one of the best experiences I've had with a coach, because most coaches, if you come onto a program, they'll give you like, oh, here's the habits to do, this is what to do. They kind of try to imprint their thinking on you, but he gives me free will to do what I want. But obviously I want to get better in this area. I've felt the feeling of being connected to something. It's like, not that I'm chasing it, but it feels better than any drug I've been on. And like I said, it's not something you can logically think about. It's a feeling. It's like, it's almost like you're a kid again. There's just no fear. It's all faith. Everything's going to be okay, and you're not even thinking about goals or desires. That's one thing I want to touch on. Is desires are the I think the new devil that I've seen of our generation. Just because everything you see, all the self help books, everything is desire, desire. I'm going to take this mic off. I'm just holding it. But yeah, it's just desire, desire. What I want to accomplish. Think about your goal, write it down, visualize it, make sure it's in your subconscious mind, and you just forget about the present moment, being grateful. And I realize the goal of every day is not to focus on what you want, but to be grateful at the end of every day, because you can't desire when you're grateful. If I gave you a present and you're happy with that present, you wouldn't be thinking about another present. And that's the same thing with gratitude. God is giving you a gift every day. Maybe you don't see it. Maybe it's a hard day. Like for me, um, I'm seeing now that the hard days are more of a blessing than the good days, even though the good days you have to enjoy them. Like I said, I was connected yesterday, super in touch with the source. But other days I've just been, in my head. But I've seen crazy growth in terms of understanding myself more, and not chasing. That's one thing I was always doing. If I had a desire or something came to my head, everyone has desires, but mine I would just um, act on them way more. And they were always like small things. They would kind of build up over time. It came a point where, I mention this all the time, but I was chasing women a long time, and then chasing money was another one. And there was a point where I wasn't feeling good at all, and I was still doing it. And that's when you know it's chasing, right? Like when you're doing something, it has to feel good, um, because that's when you know you're aligned with your purpose, what you're supposed to be doing. Don't get me wrong, not everything is gonna feel like, you know you're in ecstasy. Like, going to the gym, it's discipline. Eating the right things is discipline. But the way you're supposed to be serving the world or giving to people, it can't be something you hate. It's the rest of your life. I mean, what I've noticed, my mentor says this as well, is everyone works to one day not work. Like they want to make money to one day retire, and that's the probably the biggest lie I've seen that society has sold us of, working till retirement and you can just sit around and lounge around. And that's when all the vices come, and all the overthinking comes. Like imagine you're just sitting on a beach, like you're just on your head all day, like you're not even able to be in state, um, or connected and connected to the source, getting wisdom and sharing it. And that's one thing I want to do more on here. Not forcing a message or fabricating, just sharing my day to day, what I've learned, how I'm growing spiritually. Growing insane. It's only been 2 weeks, and I feel so much internal growth that I know it's gonna be massive. Only just getting started, and everything is spiritual. So I'm not even focused on the other areas. Physically, I've always been in good shape. I'm gonna be getting a better shape because I know it's all spiritual. The more the actions I'm doing are just based on the fact that I want to connect more, and the more I remove, the more I connect. So by nature, sacrificing is gonna help me grow, and I just know that. I have faith in that. But one thing I want to remind you guys of, is to have your desires in check. When you're desiring too much, like I said, you're not grateful, and that's one problem I've had. That's the biggest problem I've seen in myself. Desire is my biggest devil. Desire, chasing, overthinking, but overthinking is very general. There's different types of thinking. So desire is one for me. Lust was a big one, but I've removed that. I don't have any thoughts of lust or like, I see obviously attractive women around, but I don't act on it like before. I was basically like a hungry dog. I was like, just always looking for a bone, but now I'm way more calm and peaceful about it. And I read energy of women way more. I can see what they can not provide, but what their vibe is about before they even like speak to them or they open their mouth, because everything is, you can start to read energy once you get remove more of the things dampening your spirit. I've realized that's the only way. Society tells you to add more and more is because they want to dampen your spirit. This is kind of me going into reflection and connecting a bit, but it's super key to, yeah, realize that everything you're adding is the opposite. The world is backwards when you're actually connected and realize that you're not supposed to be adding, but removing, sacrificing more, suffering, in order to find who you truly are. And it's about finding. Everything was given to you. I don't think anybody now was put here by accident. Everyone was given a certain set of gifts, that they have to uncover by experimenting and not chasing, but it's almost like finding out who you are every day. That's the whole goal, and being grateful for the situation you're in, or the current stage you're in, or current level, whatever you want to call it. And that's one thing that's been helping me a lot. Whenever I think of like, oh, I want this, or like the one that's always been recently is like, how do I make money, or like, oh, what's the new goal to make money, and like what's the business. But it's like what I see myself doing now is like, who am I? Like obviously you want to get some personal, you need money to survive. And I think everyone by nature would obviously like more abundance in financially, but have I discovered myself enough yet to properly serve somebody? And I don't think it's being selfish. I thought I was selfish for a little bit, but as I've been walking around today, I've seen how different I operate compared to most people. And I'm here right now taking time out of my day to share a message for someone. So this is not being selfish. I'm just basically talking to myself through this video. And I know it can help somebody because it's me authentically talking. I'm not fabricating a message. I didn't write something on my phone and be like, oh, today's video is going to be about this. And like try to fabricate a message around how someone's going to perceive it. That's control. That's another, devil. Trying to control is another desire. Trying to control where you're going to be at in a week's time, month's time, that's not up to you. The only thing that's up to you is the actions and you uncovering who you really are. And going into reflection right now, so bear with me. But yeah, I'm just sharing where I'm at. I get more connected that way. More wisdom comes to me, and it just feels really good. It feels really good not to have to fake anything anymore, or be something I'm not just for like views or attention. The people that are going to receive this message will receive this message. Some people aren't at the point where they can reflect with this. Like people live in ego and they can't connect to their own spirit because they're just so ego driven by their goals, desires. Everything you do that is a goal is driven by your ego because your ego wants power, and that's the devil. You if you're operating out of desire, that's the frequency above fear, and that's one of the lower frequencies. The ones that are the ones to operate out of are love, joy, happiness, acceptance is another one. Acceptance of your circumstances and building gratitude on top of that. So, like I said, this video is more for me being able to learn about myself, but also you guys can see how I grow and how I reflect, and I can help you guys as well in whatever area you're in, because you're able to connect with something from this video. And maybe like right now you're in a period of overthinking. Like I said, what you have to begin to do is get out into nature, understand that that's where the source will be, where you'll be most connected. You won't be connected inside watching videos on TikTok or YouTube. That'll disconnect you more and give you more thinking. And yeah, so learn about yourself, remove the distractions, devices, and bit by bit you'll go uncovering who you really are and what you're meant to do here and your purpose here. There's one saying that's like the two best days in your life are when you're born, and the day you find out why. I forget who said that. I might have butchered it, but that's basically the vibe I'm on right now, and it feels great. And I mean, yeah, there's no rush anymore. I'm just trying to slow things down, be grateful, and everything comes as a consequence of that. So hope you guys got some value from this video. If you do like it, please like and subscribe. More will be coming from different settings. Right now it's summer in Toronto, so anything that brings nostalgia or old memories, I kind of connect with that a bit more. And yeah, gonna be a massive, massive rest of the year and rest of my life, honestly. So let's go, and until next time, keep killing it.